Welcome back to Newsday. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, for news that is just in, this is breaking news. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has set aside the decision of the Osun State Governorship Tribunal and has upheld the governorship of Senator Ademola Adeleke. We'll bring you updates as they unfold. Now, in other news, the People's Democratic Party has suspended a former Ekiti State Governor, Ayodele Fayose, and a former President of the Senate, Anyim Pius Anyim. Other party officials suspended include Professor Dennis Ichavia and Dr. Aslam Aliyu. The suspension, which takes effect from Thursday, March 23rd, was arrived at by the PDP National Working Committee after an extensive review of the party's affairs under the provisions of its constitution. The PDP also referred the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, to the National Disciplinary Committee over his alleged involvement in anti-party activities. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba.
Well, former PDP National Legal Advisor Jacob Mark is here with us to discuss the suspension of Fayose, Anyim and other PDP chieftains, and if this signals the sanitization of the party that people have been expecting in view of the roles played by various party chiefs in the general election. Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
Thank you so much.
So is this the beginning of the sanitization that we're talking about? Can you please enlighten us further on that?
Sincerely, what has happened is a bit late. But like we say in Nigeria, it's better late than never. People should know that political parties are like social clubs. And the courts have also held that they are social clubs and they are voluntary. Once you subscribe to be a member of that club or a political party, you are bound by the constitution of the political party. And it is very embarrassing that somebody will go to court to ask the court to give him an order stopping the National Working Committee from suspending him. That is unfounded, and I'm sure that decision will be corrected very soon, because you cannot subscribe to be a member of the PDP and then openly work against the PDP and ask that you should not be disciplined. Even motor park associations, they have law. They have rules guiding their operations. And once you cross the line, you are bound to have the consequences attachable to your actions brought upon your head. So for me, this is a good step in the right direction. There are so many of them, so many members of the political party PDP that openly have worked against the PDP, but they are still interested in occupying the front seats in the political party. And that is not correct. That is not to be allowed, because, like I said, even if it's in the motor park, there are rules guiding the conduct of members. There are rules guiding the actions of members, utterances, and even open condemnation and working against the party. All the people affected, what they have been doing is on record, is in the public domain. Nobody needs a soothsayer to tell him what they have done. They openly castigated and campaigned against the party. And they were very arrogant about it. What surprises me is that while you are acting in such a way, you are rushing to the court to ask that the court should not discipline you. There is nowhere that can happen, and there will be no breakdown of law and order. Once you have crossed the line, there are supposed to be consequences to every natural action of man. Even in our scriptures, they will tell you that the wages of sin is death. So I don't know why people will stay in a political party that they do not believe in. I don't know why you should remain there. Once you are not willing to comply with the regulations or the rules guiding the political party, the door is open. You leave. And that is why we have so many political parties in Nigeria. Nobody should box into one political party. If you find their rules or their operations obnoxious and unacceptable, the decent way to solve the issue is for you to step out and form your own or join others in another organization. But like the courts have said, even in the case of Alero against PDP, the issues were very clear. So many other decisions. The political party is a voluntary organization. And once you subscribe to the rules of that, to be a member of the political party, you are bound by the Constitution. The day you decide that you don't want to obey the simple rules of the political party, you are expected to exit and find another platform, which is correct.
All right, Mr. Mark, thank you for that. And thank you for highlighting the fact that the importance of rules and regulations within the party. Now, of course, two wrongs don't make a right. But of course, many will also highlight the fact that those who chose not to work for the party did so because they felt that there was blatant disregard for the PDP's constitution in the appointment and the upholding of the appointment of National Chairman Iyorchia Ayu. So where do we balance? Do the rules apply more leniently to some people than to others? Because it seems generally across the board there's been a disregard for rules. So shouldn't this be a time to come together and move forward than to start, alienating people and punishing people? Will this move the party forward?
The party constitution has made provision for people who are aggrieved to seek redress within the party structure. There is no offense or grievance that cannot be addressed in line with the provisions of the political party constitution. So, what is on ground is that certain people do not feel convinced to appear before any of the organs of the party. I am aware of the issues that arose about zoning, about giving slots to certain sections of the country. I am an agitator and a complete disciple of equity. There should be equity in the things we do. As political parties, as politicians, as friends, you must observe that and insist that equity should be the rule. But if you allege that certain rules have been breached, the party constitution makes provision for you to appeal to a higher authority. Assume it is the National Working Committee that offends you. There is the NEC, there is the BOT, and then you have the caucus of the party. And God knows, all the people mentioned or aggrieved are members of the NEC of the party. They are members of the BOT. I am a member of NEC, and I know that the people, particularly the governors that formed the G5, at a certain point they stopped attending any meeting of the PDP. So where will you solve the problem? Which organ are you going to consult? And the law is very clear that if you are a member of a political party and you get aggrieved, you must exhaust the internal mechanisms laid down in the Constitution. You must exhaust them before you go to court or before you begin to ventilate your anger publicly to the demise or to the injury of your political party. There is provision. If you are aggrieved, you appeal to the next structure of the party. And once those structures have listened to you and they have ruled either in your favor or against you, if you are not satisfied, you go to court. But what we have found today is that people went to court to tell the court that, look, I'm about to offend the constitution of my party. But I want you to grant me protection.
Now I'm wondering, in hindsight, or we always wiser in hindsight, since you play this crucial role of being the former PDP national legal advisor, how would you suggest that the party handles grievances moving forward so that it doesn't escalate to what we've seen play out in so many months?
There is no other way of solving these problems besides following the constitution of the party. What is happening is that so many people feel too big to obey the constitution and follow the procedure laid down for the addressing grievances. And so you find people just going ahead to lambast the party, tear it into pieces in the public eye, rubbish everything that is happening within the party, or because they have one grievance. And that is not the procedure laid down in the Constitution. Leaders of the party, members of the party, must follow the Constitution. The day you stop using the Constitution, anarchy steps in. And like I said, the suspension or disciplinary procedure adopted is long overdue, because some of these people would have been called back to their senses if there had been discipline on them early this year or even last year, because they didn't start this year. What they have been doing has been consistent. The only addition is that now they went to court to ask the court to stop the party from obeying or following its constitution. It cannot be done anywhere. Parties have guidelines and constitutions, and you must, if you subscribe, you must obey and follow the constitution. The day you don't want to obey and follow the constitution of the party, the door is open. And the courts have said so in several cases, that there is no compulsion in you remaining within the party if you don't like what they are doing. So it's a simple matter. Let everybody calm down and follow the constitution. And of course, on the part of the leadership, there are times they bend over just to accommodate people with their grievances. That's why I know several meetings were convened to address this issue. Even the NEC had cause to discuss this issue. BOT had cause to discuss this issue, and they kept following these respected governors to plead with them to see reason why we should come together and work for the party. But all efforts looked like a waste of time, because they appear to have made up their mind that they were not going to work for the party. And that is not sportsmanship. Some days you win, some days you must lose. If you remain stiff-necked and very sharply stubborn, there is no way you can get things to work for you all the time. And I dare say, when it comes to the issue of leadership of the party, these same governors were the ones that imposed the HRU on everybody. It's on record. They brought him. The day they divorced themselves, it's not known to many of us, but they began to fight him again. And when they brought him, everybody agreed, okay, let's give them what they want. So you want to now remove him because you are also seeking something. And it's looking very clear now that all the noise and the fight by the G5 and their followers was for persons, was personal. All that fight was personal. It had to do with their interest as individuals, not as a party. I was one of those who championed and supported the move for power shift to the south. But after, or at the point of the primaries, when people could not look themselves in the eye, negotiate properly, and get everyone to give them the vote, people were negotiating only for themselves. I don't want to mention names, but they know that the entire gamut of agitation that they raised was largely to satisfy personal ego. And look at what has happened. The PDP in Benue State was routed in all the elections. And by who? By the APC. They took the National Assembly seats, they took the governorship. House of Assembly, they ran over everybody. All because the governor was busy dancing around with Wike wherever he went to. You have a home front, and every politics is local. You must address the local interests of your people, not just yourself. When people forget that they are representatives of other people, they will overleap, like Shakespeare will say. That ambition, the man has overleaped the horse. You are so angry over an issue that you refuse to see the realities on ground. There is no reason why my friend Uwa should have lost that election. But because the governor was busy campaigning for another party openly, there was no way he could get the people to pick and choose in presidential election, vote for Labour Party. The people refused. They voted for APC. And it was too late to call them back when the elections for governorship came, because that was his own candidate. He now came back to join the campaign again and begin to canvass for PDP. That is irony. That is unseriousness as far as I'm concerned. and you don't respect your people, that's why you behave like that. If people give you a mandate, listen to them. And when you take actions, there must be a feedback mechanism to tell you whether you are with them or they are with you. What we find out these days is that leaders take decisions for themselves and then assume that all the people within the environment, all the people they are governing, they assume as if they have locked them up in one room and their ballot belongs to them. On election day, they will open the door and all the voters will come out and do what they instruct. Nigerians have gone beyond that. And the example of Benue is very clear. That when you are walking and shouting and dancing around, the people will be taking decisions. And they will wait for you. Yeah. Because you are not the one that made them to register. You are not the one feeding them. Mm-hmm. And they have brains. Oh. They will exercise a choice that you will be very unhappy with. That is what has happened in Benue.
All right, Mr. Jacob Mark, former PDP National Legal Advisor, thank you so much for your time and your insights on this issue. And of course, we will be watching it closely as it unfolds. Thanks so much for your time.